When Fortnite released Chapter 2, everything was on the rise and looking good for both Epic and the Fortnite community. Unfortunately, since then, some players have been having issues with the game, and this has led to a lot of mixed opinions on how the game is in its current state. I'm here today to take a look at what's wrong with Fortnite and how I would fix it. This is Talking Games with Kyle, and this is a discussion about the state of Fortnite. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Before I get started here, I just wanted to mention that everything I say here is my opinion. You are more than welcome to agree or disagree with me, but my thoughts here are not factual. It's just how I feel. I wanted to get that out of the way, so with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so when Chapter 2 first launched, the entire community and player base were so happy. We had a fresh new map, a cool new season with different gameplay mechanics. Everyone was so happy, from the casuals to the pros. Fortnite seemed to be at an all-time high since its peak back in 2018. I won't get too much into it, but the point is, everyone was happy playing Fortnite. Unfortunately, that didn't last. After everyone explored the map and played around with everything that was new, the game started to get a little bit stale. Epic didn't release any new content or updates like they pretty much did since every week we can remember. Players were upset about skill-based matchmaking and forced crossplay, and on top of that, they announced that they're going to extend the season until about February. I think it's safe to say that people felt frustrated. And all this frustration is definitely understandable. So what can Epic do to make their players happy? I think a good start would be to remove the forced crossplay. I don't see why all platforms need to play against each other all the time. Nobody really seems to even understand why Epic has implemented this in the game in the first place. I've been trying to think about why Epic would do that. If I was in charge, I certainly wouldn't do it. I'm thinking that there's something we don't know, but I can't figure it out, and we may find out in the future, but Epic has to be doing this for a reason. They know how unhappy everyone is, so why would they keep it in? I really can't explain that one. Now, here's where I have an unpopular opinion, so please don't hate me for this one. I absolutely love the skill-based matchmaking. If you didn't know, I'm a very average player. I'm good enough where I can slaughter a bad player, but will have very little chance against a really good player. Skill-based matchmaking has been making fights so unbelievably fun for me. I've actually been playing against players that are around my level, and winning fights gets me more excited, and it's really hard to get frustrated if I lose any fights, because oftentimes they were really fun to participate in. It's not like back in Season 10 and the seasons before that where I would play games strategizing on how I can avoid people and hopefully kill the last person or the last team. I was playing like that for a long time. My strategy wasn't always to avoid players. I'd say I adapted that around Season 8. I couldn't compete with the good players, so my only hope seemed to be to avoid as many fights as I can. So skill-based matchmaking in my eyes is just amazing, and it's not just me who says that. I have a good 5 or 6 friends who came back to Fortnite upon Chapter 2's launch and have been borderline addicted. Part of the reason why they are playing so much is because of the skill-based matchmaking, and that's just close friends of mine. I can't imagine how many others have been back. I can understand where the competitive players have a problem with it, because nobody wants to have to try their absolute hardest every time they play, which they would have to. Sometimes I'm sure they just want to sit back, relax, and have some fun doing whatever they want in Fortnite. I personally don't see a way to make both parties happy with skill-based matchmaking being in pubs. If it were up to me, Fortnite seems to be doing better when it caters to the casual players, so I would keep it in the game, but remove the forced crossplay. A lot of people are under the impression that this is the only thing that's the reason that there's a problem with Fortnite right now, and I just think skill-based matchmaking is good. I really do. I really think it's a very good thing that's been implemented in the game. But although I understand that some claim it's broken, and I personally haven't experienced that, it's been perfect for me. So if they can perfect skill-based matchmaking, that would be amazing. Let's move on though. Another big problem with Fortnite right now is that the game has become a little bit stale. But before I keep talking here, they fixed a lot of that around mid-December in how the game is on the current day that I uploaded this video. I'm talking about just before mid-December. Since the addition of Chapter 2, we have had very little updates, and the only gun that was added was the harpoon gun, and I'll be honest, that was an awesome addition. But for as long as we can remember, Fortnite either had weekly or bi-weekly updates, and every time they either changed up the meta, added new guns or locations, anything to spice up the game, and I feel like that was always really underappreciated, and a lot of people must have recognized that in Chapter 2 now. Every time there was even an announcement that an update was coming, the community would scream OP or how the new gun would be stupid, because we always received that little preview, right? For some reason, people just didn't want to give the new things a chance. They wanted the game to stay the same. When those updates arrived, people would tweet and post about how bad Epic is and ask why would they release such a thing. You know how it works. But now those same people are complaining about not getting updates and new content. It's unbelievable. But you know what? Maybe we needed this. Maybe we need to realize that all the updates were healthy for the game. All the updates kept people playing. Here's another unpopular opinion. The updates in Season 10 were fantastic. Yes, the mechs suck, and yes, I totally understand why everyone thinks Greasy and Moist Day update was too much. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about all the updates that brought new locations and new weapons every single week. Every week there was something new and exciting to check out the game. Whether good or bad, it kept everyone interested, and I love that. I love the meta changing every week, and the ridiculous items like the junk rifts. I love seeing the floating island randomly appear, or Borderlands coming out of nowhere. They were all such good ideas, most of them. If it weren't for the mechs, I really do believe that Season 10 would be looked on in such a good way. People online are saying that Season X is better than this season, and yeah, I agree, except I really did love Season X the whole time. A way they can fix Fortnite, if a fix is needed, is to bring back those frequent updates. This is the biggest must in my opinion. Even if the updates bring crazy OP stuff, we need it. I don't care what the update does, just give us one with something. People miss it, and maybe they needed Chapter 2 to realize that. The only problem with adding all the crazy stuff into the game is that it would make the pro community very upset. We've seen it in the past, and if they start adding fun stuff for the casuals, which is the majority of the player base by the way, they will start rioting again, and honestly, I see an easy solution for this. Keep pubs casual and make arenas competitive. Honestly, I'm not sure why they haven't done this. Why do the crazy items like the junk rifts or the storm flips have to be in a playlist that's competitive? It doesn't make sense to me. I would keep this loot pool we have now in Arena, and add to it when there's a fair item in competitive that gets introduced to the game. And keep piling all the crazy stuff into pubs. I see that as an easy fix. I think that would make so many people happy. The only complaint that people would have left is the queue times for Arena. Fix that and everything would be so much better. But anyways, those were the problems everyone was having up until around mid-December. I can't remember the exact date, but Epic somehow turned it all around as usual. The Star Wars update was one of the best we've ever seen when it comes to crossovers. They started with the Stormtrooper, which was pretty cool, but then they started releasing the other cosmetics like Rey and Kylo Ren, not to mention the free Millennium Falcon. They had so many cool cosmetics, and that's just the start of it. And then they introduced the Stormtrooper blasters and the lightsabers. Man, those lightsabers are so much fun. They managed to add a mythic item into the game that wasn't OP. People thought they were at the beginning, but an easy counter was discovered. The item was very noob friendly and strong, but nowhere near overpowered. They felt they were so well received by the community that Epic extended the crossover. I don't know if that's factual or not, to be honest, but I see a lot of people online saying that's what happened, so I'm gonna go with it. Not only were the lightsabers introduced, but Winterfest came along with it, which ended up, in my opinion, being a million times better than the 14 days of Fortnite. It gave us an awesome lodge with random stuff that you can do, like listen to music or even make Peely appear. And it gave us so many awesome free things. These are all stuff Epic clearly could have made a profit from in the item shop. The Millennium Falcon, music packs, skins and pickaxes. We got so many cool things, and that's just the beginning of it. Along with the update came map changes and adding the ice castles and things like that. Nothing major, but still enough to be pretty sweet. But the great thing was adding more to the loot pool, with the presents, the TAC AR, hunting rifle, snowmen, coal, and everything else that was introduced or reintroduced. It made the loot pool better. The loot pool was really lacking, and it was one of the big reasons why the game started to feel stale. It was awesome at the beginning of the season, but that was because it was a new thing. Simplifying the game was new to Fortnite, and now that it's been around for a while, nobody really likes it except the competitive players, which is understandable. Alongside all this, we also had a pretty cool event. People thought it was lackluster, but I thought it was pretty cool. Nowhere near the past few live events, but to be fair, it's pretty tough to beat those events. Most of the frustration with the event revolved around people not being able to get in, which is another thing that's understandable for sure. I would have been upset if I wouldn't be able to get in. I'm sure Epic won't let that happen again though. I'm sure they'll have it figured out for next time. So to sum it up here, a lot happened these past couple weeks. These past couple weeks, Epic managed to get the player base back on their side, at least for now. There will always be those who enjoy complaining no matter what. The event was good, Winterfest is great, and so is a Star Wars crossover. I'm excited for what Epic has planned next. We've recently seen blizzards come into the game, which is amazing in my eyes. Actually, I think it's looked in a good way by most people. This is the first time actual weather has been introduced, and hopefully they can do more, because it's so cool to look at, and it makes the game a lot more interesting, especially with the fights. Looks like with the blizzard, they're starting up a new storyline, which I missed too. I was a huge fan of the storyline in Chapter 1, so I can't wait to see what they end up doing with this chapter. So, I know I got a little off topic here, but to sum everything up here for the last time, Fortnite is back on the good side of things. To make everything perfect, they'll need to remove cross-platform and perfect skill-based matchmaking. That's a given. But in my eyes, the most important thing to do is they need to handle everything like they have the past few weeks. Add the fun, gimmicky items to the game and have some great updates like we just had. They need to be consistent with the big updates like they were before Chapter 2. If Epic can do that and have a separate playlist and a loot pool for competitive, this game would never get knocked down from the top. With the updates to everything in creative now, looks like we have quite a few things coming back to the game in the near future, as well as some new content. Looks like Epic is really setting up something big for Season 2, and I can't wait to see what's in store. They won't let us down. I know they won't. My friends and I have been playing more than ever since they started all this cool stuff and then added all this cool stuff to the game again, and I really can't thank Epic enough for that. For the first time in a long time, we've actually had to fight in our group chats to see who can get a spot in the squad. Creative is always an option, but squads have been so much fun lately that nobody wants to miss it. There's no other feeling like looking forward to the end of your day so you can squad up at night and play for hours and hours, just having a blast. As I just said, Epic Games, thank you for this incredible December, and I'm more than confident Season 2 will be fantastic. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know I got a little off topic a bit, so sorry about that. There are still some things wrong with the game, but things have been really looking up this past month. So, what do you think? Is there something wrong with Fortnite? How would you fix it if so? Have you been having fun during Winterfest? Let me know in the comments, I would love to talk about it there. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you again, and this is Talking Games with Kyle, and this has been a discussion about the state of Fortnite.